Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. And in today's video, I just want to kind of make you aware of some things that I'm seeing in the market when it comes to debt collectors. And it's very important because when I can just tell you straight up, a lot of people, when they contact us, they just don't know what to do. They're just kind of reaching out to try to see, is there a solution for their situation? And I try to get people to kind of, to breathe a little bit and to then define what their goals are, because some people do not want to go to court. Excuse me. Some people do not want to go to court. I'm going to take a quick drink of water. Some people do not want to go to court, and that is understandable. And so what I have to do, or what we have to do at my office, is get them to start to understand how to match their goals with what they're up against. So I'm going to start there, and then I'm going to talk about some other things, especially what I'm seeing with skip trace, how debt collectors are using AI to go out there and find people that they can't find. So if you are being sued by a debt collector or even sued by the original creditor, if you do not want to go to court, if if your mindset, your temperament is you just do not want to be in court, period, then your solution is going to be to start moving towards a resolution. Because if you go into court, well, number one, we're not going to even talk about going into court. If you do not feel that you want to even go to court, you're going to put yourself into the position of not showing up to court. And we have had people who have done that, where they were like, I want to go to court, and then they didn't show up to go to court. Be honest with yourself about what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. So for the purposes of this video, for the subject we're going to talk about is if you do not want to go to court. So if you do not want to go to court, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to contact the plaintiff attorney for the debt collector. Now, you might be saying, well, why can't I contact the original creditor? Let me tell you the reason why you cannot necessarily, in most cases, contact the original creditor. Once they take you to court and they sue you, you have to deal with that attorney, and there's a number of reasons why. Number one, a business cannot represent itself in a court setting, and if they've hired that attorney, they've paid that attorney, or they have a retainer with that law firm to handle that business. They want to do their business. Now, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to them and the attorney at the same time. As a matter of fact, we've done that to make sure that they do, when a client wants to do a settlement, that we make sure that they know what their hired attorney knows also. Some of the times they don't get that information to them. What's happened is that they've told the attorney an amount of money that they're willing to, the lowest that they're willing to go down to, and the attorney is going to handle that back and forth. And if it's lower than that amount, the attorney doesn't always get it over to them. They're going to just stick with what they told them. So a sneaky little way of getting around that is you send the attorney a letter and you send the original creditor a letter, because ultimately it's the original creditor's decision to take what they're going to take. Now, if you do not have a lump sum to offer them, don't play around. You're going to have to set up payments. We just helped a client today who does not have the money, and they needed to make payments, and they would not accept that. This company actually came down and said, okay, you're not going to have to pay this amount. We're going to cut it down to this amount, which was a very good amount when you're looking at payments. So they actually gave a settlement on and allowed monthly payments. But the client was in a bad situation financially, and they just could not make the payment that they offered. So what we did is we negotiated the payment arrangement And but they did not do a settlement, though. They wanted to keep it on the original amount, which is understandable. If you want to keep it out of court, you want to keep a judgment from happening, this is a solution that you might have to utilize until things get better. Is what we negotiated was a smaller payment, very small payment. I'm not going to mention the amount, but a very small payment. Just it's less than 3 digits. Three digits. $100 is 3 digits, so it's way less than that. And negotiated that, and then we said in 6 months. In 6 months, we can revisit it and see if the client is doing better to continue forward. Now, what we've so if you think about it, what we've actually negotiated is we've negotiated not to have a judgment, not to have this go into court, because the client does not want to go into court. They want to be able to keep working. They don't want to have their boss get a letter saying, hey, you're being garnished, or their bank account potentially being garnished. And it kind of, in a way, kicked it down the road a little bit to allow the client to be able to get their situation in order, and then they would be able to proceed with doing a potentially a lump sum settlement. The amount that would settle this as in a lump sum is not an insurmountable amount, but right now, with what the client is experiencing financially, it's not going to work for them. So that's a way that we've negotiated to be able to keep it out of court, no judgment, small payment going to the creditor so they know that it's a serious deal. Got the contract, I just saw it, and allows 6 months cooling off time. That's negotiate. That's something that from experience, like when when we're going back and forth, we're trying to figure out solutions. And if a person does not want to go to court, remember, the whole goal for this client, that they want it, not that we want it. You got to do what the client wants. Is if they do not want to go to court, then we make it clear to the client, this is what you got to do, and we're going to do it for you, but this is what you got to do, which is what I just explained to you. That's one solution. There's various different solutions that you can work out. It's just depending on your specific situation. But I just gave you a good one. That's one there. Or you can do a settlement, or you can do a payment that they would want and do a settlement. Those are 3 solutions actually. Now, let's talk about the skip tracing. So I need you to like this video right now, because people need to hear about what I just talked about, but also they need to hear about this skip tracing using AI. Now, I've had videos where I talked about skip tracing. TransUnion has them, Equifax has them, Experian has them, these different programs or products that debt collectors can buy to try to hunt down people, to say, if they're hard to find. And now they're using AI. So now let me tell you how the AI is, like some of the times when you do things and you're like looking at it, it's like all these puzzle pieces laying on the floor, and you're like, how, you don't see how it all comes together until it comes together. And when I was reading how they're utilizing AI with the skip tracing, something that I didn't even think about, is that if you've ever used AI, if you have ever used any AI, if you've ever made a form, a document, software, whatever it is, and you've put your information in there about who you are to utilize that AI. Even if you created a letter, like some people have created dispute letters using AI, and they use their information in that letter. I've spoke about this before. People don't know this. All AI has an invisible signature in the way that it's written. You can create a document from ChatGPT or Adobe AI. We use that for my company with making thumbnails and stuff like that. You could create them with all these different ones that are out there, and they're required to have a signature. The signature, we can't see it, but the signature exists, and it's not something new. This is something that I learned about with print machines, because I have a print advertising business, and I forget something that happened in there was a document that we needed, and we had to submit that to a legal a legal I can't even think of, to the police, and I did not know that our printer has a signature in there. So your printer that you have at home, you print something out, there's a signature on that printer. We can't see it, but they would know. I saw this with my wife and I were driving in the car this weekend, and this guy had killed his girlfriend or something. I don't know, killed somebody. But he used trash bags to dispose of the body. And in the trash bags got digital signatures on there. So no matter what it is, they could trace where it came from. And so what I had found out is that the AI, this is how they're hunting down people. When you utilize any AI system, these computers are talking to each other, and this is how they're finding people. Because I was like wondering, why have the court cases jumped? Why has the contacts with letters from debt collectors jumped? Like it's at an all-time high with them sending out letters and finding people. And I was like, how is this happening? And it's because they're using AI in the skip tracing. And when you're utilizing anything that has AI, social media, Google, ChatGPT, Adobe, any of these AI platforms, anything that has a digital signature, now that AI is talking across the board with multiple computers. And see, this is how it's done. This is why it's happening even more with AI, is because everybody's AI is trying to get more data. The way AI is built is by getting data. So they're getting data from this one, from that one, and that one. They're pulling all that data together, because just like Google was doing way back, if you could just imagine how Google was always saying, come in for free, come in, give me this data, put your business page, business listing on there, set up this page, set up all of this stuff. And it was because at some point they were going to sell it to organizations that would be able to use that data. And what I'm seeing now is that they're using that for skip tracing right now with the AI. And you might be saying, well, what can I do? I'm just going to tell you there's nothing you can do. Unless you just take yourself fully off the grid, there is absolutely nothing that you can do, because we are intertwined with using all of this stuff, and some of it we've been using it because it's just been a huge benefit to us for business, huge benefit for personal use, and now it's just like it's part of our life. So that's what I have on that. The next thing is I have a sneaky suspicion that debt collectors are back into the commission business. The reason why I'm thinking that is because we have had to work with, I'm talking about the agents, not talking about the debt collection attorneys, because they're very easy to deal with. I'm talking about the agents. The agents are really not trying to budge on the amounts that they're trying to offer in settlements. And my sneaky suspicion is that they've brought the commission base back into it. The commission base was actually lowered, was with a lot of collection agencies. The commission base for them doing commission deals had really kind of started going away. They were mostly paying their workers by the hour. Not to say that there wasn't some that were still doing it, but in bulk, mostly it was taken away. And the reason why is because if you have a agent that's going to be like, hey, I got this debt for $25,000, and if I can get a 5% or a 10% commission by cutting this deal, they're going to do a lot of stuff to try to do that, because they see the money. They see the outcome of what, if they get that money, what's going to happen for their paycheck. And so there was a lot of problems going around from debt collection companies. A lot of them were getting sued because of what was going down with their workers, and so you had saw that that the commission-based companies had kind of drawn down. Not to say that the company per se itself was not commission-based based on what they collected, or if they purchased the debt, they wasn't sharing that revenue with their agents, with their reps. And but now I think that it is making a comeback. That it's making a comeback, and a lot of it, some of it has to do with just that there's so much debt out there, and the companies are trying to figure out strategies to buy the debt, because they're in competition with other debt collection companies that even buy the debt, so they're having to go high, and then they're making an incentive for the reps, more than just being an hourly worker, that they're like, hey, you can get this extra bonus commission on top of it if you can collect the debt, and that makes them go at it. They're more lively about what they're going to do. They're going to work harder to collect on that debt, and they're going to work harder to get that top dollar amount. So it really, with us, what it's done to our company is it's made the back and forth even more. Like my reps and myself, we're on the phone like for hours with different collection agencies, trying, with the clients that we're trying to negotiate stuff for. We're on there, and it's a lot of back and forth, like way more than what we are used to doing. A lot more. All right, so that's debt collection with commission. Now, here's something else that we're noticing. We've gotten over the last 3 weeks, we've gotten 2 of these that fell into this category. Debt collectors suing individuals for debt that is past the statute of limitations. Now, it is totally against the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act to even try to collect legally by using legal means, taking someone to court for a debt that's past the legal statute of limitations to collect. But this is why I think that they are doing this, is because they still believe that some people do not have all the necessary information and know how to fight if they go to court. So if we were to line up what you need to do, like if we say, like, there's a checklist, here's a checklist. If you get a court summons, first thing you need to do, even before you call and say, Steve, I need your help, please help me, and like this video right now, because this is some very good information. Like it right now. Let's push up these views on these videos. First thing you need to do is look at statute of limitations for that debt, because if it's past legal statute of limitations, even though they are trying to sue you in court, you could send them a letter. And now it depends on how close your court date is. If your court date is close, then you need to still respond to the court summons. So you might need us. Respond to the court summons, and you would put within your affirmative defense that the debt is past legal statute of limitations to collect. That's where you would need to do that. If your court date, like if you got a week to your court date, then don't try to send them a SOL letter notifying that they should not be trying to take you to court. You need to cover all your bases. You need to send that in your affirmative defense, and you send that affirmative defense is going to go to the debt collector, and they're going to read that, and they should withdraw. You could sue them also for them doing that, but they would have to withdraw. Past legal statute of limitations to collect, you do not have to pay that debt, but depending on where you're at in the process, you might have to do a little extra just to even get them to stop with what they're doing with the lawsuit, because what they're depending on you not doing is responding to the court summons properly. That's what they're depending on. So make sure, if we want to go with that checklist, if you receive a debt that's just a regular letter, of course that's what you're going to check. But if they've, you somehow just you skipped that process, or maybe they didn't send you the letter, because we get a lot of that too, that initial dunning letter, then what you would do is you would check statute of limitations, you get your credit reports. There's a link below this video to grab your reports, because the free reports is not going to show you this all the time. And you're going to look at the comment section. If whatever that charge-off date, that's when the statute of limitations clock starts to tick. If it's past that statute of limitations date, according to the laws in your state, not other states, your specific state, And remember, these debt collectors are not in every state. They are licensed in your state, but they are not located. So they may not even have paid attention when they sent that to you. They're supposed to. Some states require it, but most states do not require that they check that and that they notate that in their court summons. So if you receive a court summons, check the statute of limitations on that. And if you're within a week before your court date, you need to respond to the court summons and put that in your affirmative defense. If your court date is like 30 days out, you can send them a letter because that'll be enough time for them to respond. Remember, you're not the only one that they're dealing with. I know they make you feel that way, but you're not the only one that they're dealing with. All right. If you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch video What Makes Us Different so you can see my 8-point validation process, my two-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, grab your TransUnion Equifax Experian credit reports by going to your3scores.com. Link is below this video. Grab those, even just to see what's on there. A lot of people call us, they don't even know what's on their reports. You need to know what's on your reports all the time. If you have debt collectors coming after you early in the game, before they try to take you to court, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations, debt validation, cease and desist collection activities letter, because you can stop them before they get that far. Use the one that's appropriate for your situation. It has instructions on there. If your debt is past legal statute of limitations, you do not need to do a debt validation on that debt. You just need to send them the letter that I give you that states that the debt is past legal statute of limitations to collect. Please like this video, post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. Thank you for your time.